up? It's Way Up with Angela Yee. I'm here. Jasmine from the Jasmine brand is here. And New Mano.
New Mano.
I love when Mano does an interview. And Nick Cannon's here.
Yo, it's some heavy hitters at this table for real.
Listen, usually I'm in Nick Cannon's space, but now we have you on Way Up, which I appreciate.
No doubt. Come on, man. You my sister. I'm here.
We really called you here to do an intervention
Uh-oh.
on Mano.
Yes. Yes.
Really?
Yes.
I thought it was on me. Hey.
Wow.
My brother,
I
though.
thought it was on me.
Wow.
So the two women came here to do interventions on both of you.
Really?
This is
Y'all
a good
both,
show.
y'all both need it.
We need help.
Y'all
Yeah.
both need them in different ways.
I know I need help.
But it's great that you know, because Mano is oblivious. He's in denial.
You think he's good?
Yeah.
But he's Mano, though. Think about all that he's been through in life. No matter what y'all say the issue is,
man.
he's overcome bigger obstacles.
He has.
Indeed.
has.
Indeed.
But we were talking about with Mano last week about trauma and things that he's
Right.
gone through, and even just being Mano.
Yeah.
You know,
Being Mano.
Yeah, you can't just let certain things go. You feel
Right,
like
but we all a work in progress.
There it is.
Every day we
God ain't done with us.
Exactly. And every day that we got
So
another
all
breath,
men say.
we still striving for our greatness.
There it
This
is.
is the same language he uses every time we call him out on getting into
No,
it.
we
He says he's
stepping into our
grown.
And then he
greatness.
said he's done, and
He's
he's
mature.
No,
And then
we're
he does it
good.
again.
No, you
But
gotta
real
understand
talk,
this.
and then even because I kind of know rumblings of what's going on, but Mano is truly an example of a leader in the community that
Indeed.
people respect,
Right.
but know not to play with.
Okay.
Like, so he has, that's a healthy balance that he has to look.
Thank you,
I'm
Nick.
trying to be a peacekeeper, but if it's up, it's up.
Thank you, Nick.
But I will say this, right, as being somebody who people look up to in the community, and you know, Nick, you're the same thing too. Sometimes
I just ain't got the,
No, man, I messed up.
the
I
rah.
feel like you have some type of martial arts training.
Yeah. No, if it has
That's
to,
even better, though.
yeah, if it has to get down,
That's even better, though.
I'm just talking about the weight of the streets. You know what I mean?
But
I'm
sometimes
respected as, he in the house.
People get you riled up though that have nothing to do with nothing too. It
Yeah.
could
Of
be,
course.
yeah. So
This is what I talk when I talk about gangsters. Gangsters either love passionately and love hard. If they people, they'll die for you.
That's right.
But if it's up and it goes the opposite way, they go
similar passion.
Yeah,
That's the
so
opposite.
think about Tupac. Think about all of the people that they are the biggest lovers, but they also go, they
Passion.
Yeah.
But we just needed. Mano has a hit song out right now that just came out.
He's doing very
Ano-
well.
Another
Very
one.
well.
So
Very
and
well.
look, we need to keep you
New
busy.
Mano.
New Mano.
Now let's intervene with Nick Cannon. You
Oh,
know?
whoa.
You're
Now
next,
you bring it
Nick.
this way.
You're
Now-
next.
I
That was
love
something-
hard.
I love hard.
Yeah, we know
Passion.
this.
Yes, passion.
Oh, we know. But congratulations on everything. Last week I saw you had two shows premiering
On the same night.
at the same
At this
time
point,
on
I'm really
Major.
competing with
With
myself.
yourself, major.
It's
Major.
amazing that you have the ability, because sometimes, like, a lot of people sign deals and there'll be a deal where it's a non-compete or X,
Yeah.
Y, and Z, but you've managed to
Nah, I learned a
circumvent.
long time ago.
Non-exclusive.
Like, non-exclusive, exactly. Like, at this point, the amount of money that I make, a lot of network, they can't afford me. Let's
Yeah.
just keep it a stat. You know what I mean? I'm the highest paid host in television.
Hold
So-
on. Let's pause on that. Nick Cannon is the highest paid host in television.
I see a Jasmine brand headline.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's
Thank you. I love that.
I mean, but because when negotiating deals, I know my value, so I'm like, okay, I'll cut my fee, but you can't have me exclusively. Now,
Yeah.
if you want me exclusively, that costs a lot of money.
You tell the women that too?
Well, look at
Thank you.
go,
Nick.
sis.
I know you
That
gonna
a girl.
you was
Let's
gonna
go,
sneak
sis.
that in.
Let's
They're
go,
all
sis.
non-exclusive. Of
Oh,
course.
Now
That's
Exclusive Nick.
he know his value.
Yeah.
And that's very important in the game is to know your value.
Yeah.
And I tell you this, and we talk sometimes throughout the years, and I always tell you that you one of those guys that has even inspired me.
Oh, that's
because
love.
I watched your hustle in creating content and creating shows and over the years,
Yeah.
and how you still here. So I admire that, brother.
Nah, that's love, man. The respect is mutual and just based off of just really we all in it trying to do the same thing. You know what I mean? And at this point, I'm at a level in my career where I really am trying to build platforms and create opportunities for others. So even when you see stuff like Wildin' Out or any of the the Future Superstar brand I'm just building as well, it's like it's really like at this point I'm trying to get my Quincy Jones on. I'm trying to lay the foundation for everybody else. So that's where we at with it.
Can you tell us about the Future Superstar? Because that's something new that I saw that you were doing
Yeah.
and taking it from city to city. So what is that?
It's dope. Myself, Live Nation, Vibe Magazine, BET, and VH1 came together and curated the artists that we believe are, on the verge to being, the next generation superstars. And it's really, it's kind of like 106 in Park meets the Scream Tour meets the Double XL freshman cover. And I just took a page out of like Barry Gordy's book of just put all of these new young acts on a Motown review type of tour from hood to hood, threw them on a bus, and, we documenting the whole thing. So it'll be out, as a television show, probably, in a couple of months once we edit everything together. But we've been on the road, since the top of the year, and it's wrapping up here in New York. So
I don't see how he does. Because then, because I saw this, I was like, okay, this is something else. And then you and Jonathan Greene from the Anti-Defamation League.
Yeah, you came on the podcast. We got a weekly podcast that we actually do it at the headquarters of the ADL, and really having them, them brave conversations, them things that we told we can't talk about or we can't have opinions on, because obviously, that a lot of the stuff that I went through, being a outspoken individual, and sometimes I just, we need clarity. If I always tell, the minister taught me, you never want to speak falsisms. I only want the truth to come out of my mouth, because then therefore is power. So I went straight to him like, is this true? Is that true? Why can't we say this? Why are you offended by that? And we've had a bunch of conversations behind closed doors. So I was like, nah, let's let the people hear what we're talking about. And that's why we created the podcast, the Solutions Podcast.
What's great about that is that you went through a lot. And you and Jonathan Greenblatt actually got to know each other because, but that's how you do
friends,
it, right?
And we became cool, and that's the thing, because even everybody goes through stuff. We all we're like Mano said, it's a learning process. We all growing, and through that, we have way more similarities than we have differences. And if as a community, as various communities, we need to learn from each other.
Right.
So if we can't figure out how to, coexist, especially when we see other people getting to the bag and putting on for theirs, like we know as a community, it's generational wealth shit is real.
Yes.
So we really trying to figure it out. And, as a father of many, I really want to put on and make sure that I'm leaving, for my next generations, that they understand not only, I'm going to leave you with some money, but I'm going to leave you with money to know how to allow that money to make more money.
Blueprint.
Yeah, so I'm trying to be on that John D. Rockefeller stuff.
Right.
To where, like, if you look at his offspring and the amount of kids he has, he's created so many trusts. There's billions and billions of dollars just off the name.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He didn't give the money to his kids individually. He built trust and put them in charge of the trust. So now you're automatically a CEO as soon as you turn 18. And you're managing, they managing trillions.
Yes,
you know what
they
I mean?
are.
But,
and
I want my
last name holds a lot of weight.
Yeah,
A
exactly.
lot of
I
weight.
want that Cannon last name to resonate the same way that Rockefeller name resonates.
Is that why you populate?
I don't know. To be honest, we talked about this before. Like, I've been out. I'm just living. You know what I mean? I just love life. I didn't set it up to be that way, but whatever is placed with me, I was like, I'm gonna figure this out.
That's right.
So I didn't run from it. I'm not one of them cats.
You definitely didn't.
As we've all talked before, because we all friends and stuff. Like, we all know how certain people can handle situations, and I just usually try to handle situations as openly, as vulnerably, and I don't hide nothing. So I think my story is just out there a lot more than most, because I lean into it, and I love my kids. I want to embrace my kids, and but I'm no different than the next athlete or entertainer with a lot of kids. I just love my kids so much that I just put it out there.
I know you've been asked this before, but is there in your mind a cap at what number you want to stop at? And also, how are you planning to, we talked about generational wealth. How do you plan on setting them up?
Well, that's what I thank you for that, because that really is what I've learned through this process. Is that Rockefeller mentality?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, to where, I didn't set out to do this, but now that I have this infrastructure, a strong family, and more money than I ever thought I would make in my life,
right,
it gotta go somewhere. And if I just give a bunch of money to my kids, and they go buy cars and all
Right.
then-
Things.
Yeah, then it's. But if I give the game and the knowledge with the money,
Right.
now we've built an empire.
Right.
So is it going to be like are you going to leave trust?
Yeah,
Or are you
trust.
going to?
100% trust
Okay.
that they control. So
Okay.
every house I buy, every piece of property, every IP that I own will be controlled. You know, when I'm no longer here, will be controlled by the trust of Cannons.
And
Think about
is there a
it-
cap? What's the cap? What's the cap?
I don't know. I think
No
right
cap,
now,
you just
Is there no cap?
Yeah, today I'm good with my dozen.
Good.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But
But life is life.
Yeah.
I remember every time we talk, he's like, "Yeah, I'm done now. I'm
Yeah.
celibate," and then
yeah, she be trying to give me the intervention. Like I did go. I'm in
I didn't
therapy.
tell you just said you were celibate.
But like just having when you ask advice of your friends, especially from women and stuff,
Yeah.
like I never know. Like right now, I don't have the time to be out here getting to know nobody new and dating
yeah.
and all of that.
Yeah.
But you know, I don't know what's gonna happen next year. I don't know what's gonna happen in 5 years. You
So
know,
you're
especially
open.
being an actor, you get on these movie sets to match.
Oh
You getting a
God.
character, another kid pop up.
Yeah.
Get into
Sparks
character.
flying.
Yeah, I got too deep into the character.
But you know, you said you lean into it and you have celebrity prank wars. Even how you promo that show.
Yeah.
I feel like you like to make people mad.
He does.
100%.
Yeah.
I'll be your villain. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, May don't know this.
Yeah.
Like, there's something about just if y'all. I'm not gonna let y'all control the narrative. Yeah, you know, say goodnight to the bad guy.
right.
Everybody
That's
needs it. Like, so if this is what y'all mad about, I feel
I'll
like
make you madder.
I feel like black women are really upset with me for some reason, and specifically that group. And I love them. It's
You
so.
think that they really upset with you though?
I think it's that love-hate
Yeah,
thing.
Yeah, I think it's
love-hate. I don't think
love-hate
it's-
because
yeah.
they be on me. They on me so heavy, and I think especially. And let me say this: a certain demographic, certain age group, because older black women love me. My mama and them, grandmas, aunties.
My mama and
he
them.
just like,
Baby
he just like your daddy. You know what I mean? Like I get that energy.
right.
I get that energy from the elder
elders,
statesman.
yeah.
But the young girls is like I think they expect more from me.
Okay.
And so that's where that comes from. He's like, oh, we thought you was one of the good ones. We thought,
Yeah.
you know, even the corny ones is crazy. You know what I
my
mean?
God.
Like I get that in my comments because you know you see the gangster type. You know what you expect when Mano pull up to the crib.
Right. But Mano
me,
wants love.
Mano wants love. He said he don't want no more kids though.
Yeah, but I don't see
Man
why
wants
people
love.
will be mad when a man is still handling his business. You see, if
because this is what I see in the comments a lot, and we even talk about this on one of my new shows and stuff. But it's like they say, "Oh, money don't make you a good father."
Right, nothing
Just
makes up
because
for
you can
time,
provide for him. What about the recitals?
Why you got to do?
That's what I'm envisioning when y'all in the comments.
But
That's
Nick-
what we doing though. That's what we doing.
That's a valid point though, because you know it is hard to keep up with so many different, 12 children
Right.
with 12 different schedules in different places. That isn't easy.
It definitely is, but nothing about my life has ever been easy.
Right.
So, and I rise to the occasion. I accept the challenge. So, I hold me accountable,
What's
black
your
women.
what's your response?
Please,
What's
because
your-
I'm gonna show you. That's
Right.
keeping me at the forefront of my mind every day. That I got to be the best father I could possibly be.
What's your response to when people say he can give money but he can't spend the appropriate amount of time with each child?
Watch me
Watch
work.
me.
Like because
I like that.
and that's the thing. Like even if it is, if it's up, it's up. It's a challenge. Watch how because the only opinions that I truly really care about are the opinions of my children.
Right.
Yeah.
And then right now, everybody happy. But I'm a realist. I know that, when kids are 16 years old, even I got preteens now,
Right.
12 years old. They ask questions. We have real conversations. So I know it ain't always gonna be flowers each and every day, but we all deal with challenges.
Yeah.
Right, but that's whether you got 12 or 1.
Yeah.
You're still going to have to have those conversations.
100%.
Do the kids ever all get together?
Yeah. And even I purposely don't put that out there because I feel like that even sometimes is sending a wrong message because I want to give each and every one of my children the individual time that they need.
Yeah.
But if it's just like, oh, I'll make everybody come over to the house and cater to me, that feels to me a little weirder than, oh, okay, I'm gonna go pop up at this basketball game. I'm gonna go to this sensory class. I'm gonna try to give everybody their individual time because I feel like that's a little that's important to me as a father because I could rent out Disneyland. I've done it before. I can say,
Stun
y'all,
on 'em.
Yeah.
y'all
When
pull
you
Not
up.
only my kids, bring your friends. too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's like usually that, Rock and Roll's birthday's coming up. That's what we do every year. We go
Yeah.
rent out whatever city we in, we'll rent out the Six Flags in the middle of the night and turn up.
Right.
You know,
Man,
like
how your daughter's gonna get a boyfriend?
they not.
Right.
we
What can
we
they
not.
possibly do?
They not.
My daddy ran out
listen,
Disneyland.
how would you feel, if one of your daughters met a guy like you who was open in terms of like having
Hopefully, I have given my daughters the game and the information, and they've seen how I've moved over the years with the authenticity that they're wise enough to get what they want.
Okay.
I don't care who, they gonna come across some cold niggas, you know what I mean? And I want them to be like, you ain't colder than my daddy. Like, I've seen this before.
Right.
So I talk to my daughters, specifically the ones that are old enough right now. I'm like, look, this is the reality of it.
Right.
You know what I mean? You are a queen, you are a treasure, and they gonna be coming hunting for you. But know your value. Know that you don't need a man. If you want a man, sure. If you
Right.
want a woman, whoever you want,
Do
Right.
you?
do you. But you are at a place that they coming for you. You are a target.
she's also a canon.
Yeah, that's
a
what I'm
cannon,
saying.
yeah.
You're a target.
Yeah.
So know your
You know I
value,
got
know
Nick's
your
daughter.
power, and my kids can be. That's the beauty of it. Where however you want to put it in your judgment towards me, I understand it. But every child that I have can do whatever they want in this world. They have the ability. If you want to be a doctor, I can put you in the best schools. If you want to be a gymnast, I can put you with the best coaches. If you just want to sit at home and chill, we're gonna set you up so your mental health is all the way together that you can live the life that you want to live.
Right.
So however you put it, finances is freedom.
Yeah.
And if I can teach you to be respectful, loving, and compassionate, the world is yours.
That was one of my favorite conversations. We did the thing I had to do for Acorns, and we
Yeah,
got
yeah.
to talk about finances because I feel like people focus on Nick's personal life
Yeah.
so much that we kind of don't think about all the business aspects.
Yeah,
of
I
everything
appreciate that too. That was a good look. That was a great
that you have
interview.
going on. And I want to talk about celebrity prank wars for a second.
Yeah.
With you and Kevin Hart, because y'all be
Turning
getting
up.
each other. But what is one thing? Because we saw Kevin Hart is scared of, I guess, animals.
He's
or
like super
Is
frightened.
it all of them, or is it just
Really?
like the?
He just and he also just don't like being put on the spot. He don't like
He knew
made
something
looking
was-
like a
yeah.
bitch and like
Right.
an animal scared of he trying to be an
So
action
all
hero.
animals just scare him.
I think he good with dogs. He got a lot, but like anything else. And I learned this 'cause
possum.
I sent, before we had the show, I sent the llama to his house for his
Yeah.
birthday.
Yeah, I saw that.
And he was wigging out, and it made it even funnier because it was a prank, so he was trying to like play along, but he was terrified.
terrified.
So I was like, oh, I got to turn this
what
up.
are your fears?
I mean, because I don't want to sound corny, like I ain't scared of nothing. Like,
Come on, Nick.
Nick.
I'm
That's
not.
impossible.
I'm not like if you look at my life, I lean into everything.
I'm
So
talking about like how
little
like,
shit, like I would probably say. When I was younger, heights probably, but then I started bungee jumping and jumping out of planes just to conquer that. So I don't. And when you've been through real shit in life,
Right.
you like, I
Do
ain't
you
scared
fear
of nothing.
death at all?
No, I probably did until I almost died several times, and I actually saw the spiritual experience. When you can have those visions, and not to get too esoteric and shit like that, but people know. Everybody knows when you can have them near-death experiences, moments whether it's a car accident, being shot, whatever, you go to a different realm. And I've been there a couple of times. I've been in the hospital room.
Yeah.
Organs failing and all of that stuff, and to be able to experience that time, to know like, oh, it's nothing to be scared of. It's nothing. It's actually something to celebrate.
because you got an amazing life too.
Yeah, and that's
Right.
and then I did
You
it.
got-
I did
yeah.
it so well. So like
I did it so well.
I'm ready to go to the whatever's after this.
Yeah, what
like
do you think happens after?
if we getting deep like that, I've studied this. You know what I mean? Just the idea of the connection to the spirit realm, and being able to bounce back and forth to it and know who you are, who you were in this lifetime, who you were in past lifetimes, who you're supposed to be. Because it's all energy. Energy never
Energy,
dies.
right. Energy never dies.
If that's just
That's
straight
exactly what it is.
science.
It is.
So where does this energy go once you leave this, this humanly shell? you actually do have control over that. And that's what I've witnessed. So if you want and it's funny because we're going to get deep into this, but there's levels to the afterlife.
Okay.
So if you in this life have subscribed to Christianity, you're going to go to the Christianity level where all of that Christian energy there's a level for that. If you Buddhist, if you Muslim, or if you believe in reincarnation,
right.
As I've seen it, the experiences that I've had, and there's places called like the Monroe Institute that like a true like $1 billion institute that just focuses on nothing but like afterlife and outer body experiences, and everybody's conversation they gather all this information, and it's scientifically proven like there's whatever you believe in,
right.
When you leave this shell, there's a club for you. There's a community.
What
for
club
you.
are you gonna go to?
Probably the reincarnated, because I feel like, and we all probably did some substances that have taken us to different realms.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Some ayahuasca.
Yeah. So in that, I've had certain journeys and stuff to where I've had conversations with ancient energy, with the ancestors and stuff, and I'm like, oh, I've done this before. Like, if you ever know anything about your Akashic readings or your Akashic thing, like it's all pre-designed and it's just a cycle.
Right.
We all done everything that we doing now. We was doing this in Egypt. We was doing
Right.
this,
That's a fact.
we was doing this in Mozambique. We was doing this in different energy. So I've tapped into different energy before. So I know the fire that's in me now ain't brand new, and it's gonna continue on. So that's my afterlife.
Okay.
Let me ask you about that. Do you think that it's consciousness in the energy after we leave the body?
100%.
So we still conscious.
Yeah. I mean, from what I believe, because
Right.
consciousness is greater than the body. I mean, like, it's the same thing. Like, it's as simple as when they tell you, like, when you walk past a bathroom, your body tells you gotta pee more
Right.
when you got, you know what I mean? It's just simple. Like,
When you're putting that key
it's
in the
just
lock?
it's stuff that it's
Yeah.
just, exactly.
Then you really start to feel it.
That's the
Right.
simple as you could put it. That's your conscience telling you, like, yo, they move. So I believe that has nothing to do with the mind. That has to do with physical. That's your
Right.
spirit.
That's
Your spirit is.
So the spirit stays conscious, right?
Yeah.
In energy form.
That's what I believe. I mean,
Okay.
that's what I've experienced. That's my. I always know, like, being in those times where, several different times. We all been in scenarios where we've almost lost our life, or people have said, I've spent those times and be like, yo, my spirit is just operating all of this.
Right.
It's that voice that we hear in our head, that's your spirit. That's not your mind. That's not that's truly your heart chakra. That's when they say, oh, I feel it in my gut.
When you say go by your
The
vibe.
intuition.
Yeah, like with the
Intuition.
spirit of
That's all
discernment,
energy.
that's
Right.
who we are.
Right.
And then to me, like that stays,
That stays. That's our natural selves.
Yeah, in my opinion.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That you've really given this a
Oh,
lot,
I mean, I think
and just because of your own experience,
I think
like
with my own
near-death.
health, because like you said, if we're talking about anything I feared, when in 2012 when I got diagnosed with lupus and kidneys was failing, pulmonary embolisms, blood clots, I like every week it was something new, and so I was like, damn, I'm not gonna be. And I literally just had my first 2 kids with Mariah. I was like, man, it's a wrap. And I wasn't, like I said, I got to a place where I was like, it's content. I had a beautiful life. But then I was like, let me understand this so much more so I don't have to operate out of fear when that time is. And I'll probably lean into it and deal with it probably differently and probably more than most, because it's always on the forefront of my mind, my health, my children. So I'm talking about, generational wealth, financial planning,
Right.
like trying to be here as long as I possibly can,
Yeah.
because I've dealt with those things when it was in 2012. I didn't have it together if I would have checked out.
Do you
Right.
think that, not to cut you up, do you think that going through that puts you in that mind state to check all those other boxes?
100%, and that's what made me lean into it even more. And I, even when I started going to Howard in 2016, I did that because, like, yo, it's a new lease on life. I'm gonna go get this degree, and I'm gonna go get it in a space to where it
He
matters or it
went on
changes.
campus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I was there like twice a week
Yeah,
in DC. But it was like I was learning about psychology and how the brain works, and I was getting a degree in divinity. Like, I need to understand these religions that came before the
right.
spirituality, because that's what interests me. I was like,
Right.
if I'm not gonna be here, I need to figure out what the setup is.
Now, let me ask you this: when is the last time you've taken a break and not done anything. Like, let me just take some time to not do this show, not pitch this idea, not work with this person. When is the last time, and what's the longest
I don't like
period?
vacations. I don't like I always say, my vocation is my vacation, and I love everything that I do. But if we're saying, like, obviously, if I'm not focusing on my career, it's my children. So, and we have so much fun together and do, things that, like I said, we at theme parks every weekend. We, we doing things like that. So I take time for the important stuff with family. But I'm a hustler, like as Mano said.
I get it, but I also feel like for self-care purposes, it is.
But because I do all
sometimes it's a reset, but it's also time for you to clear your
Oh,
head
definitely.
and come up with some other things.
I definitely. We talked about this before too, but like I'm on the circadian vibration.
What vibration? What is that?
The circadian clock is what we all are designed for this.
Okay.
And it's funny. Dick Gregory was the person, God rest him. He put me up on this when I first got sick, and I didn't really listen to it until I started to do more research. We're all designed. Every animal is on a circadian vibration. All it means is it's an internal clock that we all have. And when the sun goes down, you're supposed to go down. And that's where that's why even the idea of breakfast is called breaking a fast in the morning. You're not supposed to eat. You're not supposed to do nothing when the sun goes down. You're supposed to allow your body to recharge. That's where you can meditate. That's where you can vibrate on a higher frequency. And then when the sun comes up, you're ready for it. So for me, I go, it makes perfect sense. When my kids go to sleep, I go to sleep. So 7, 8, depending on where the sun is. Everybody, we put the meditation vibrations on.
I like that idea.
Go to sleep. And everybody else probably needs 12 or whatever. They wake up when the sun comes up at 6 a.m. I wake up at 2 a.m. But that's a solid 6 hours from 8 to 2 that your body had the opportunity to recharge. And then from 2 to 6, before I start, my morning show, I get to meditate. I get to work out. The world is quiet. As creators, we know those are the magical hours. But imagine we was in the studio all night from, 2 to 6, and we tired. Imagine that's how you start the studio session. Is you fresh, you just woke up. Imagine the creativity you're going to have
I
at
know
2
people who
a.m.
go in the morning to the studio, like
But that's what I'm
first thing
saying. 2
and
to
they don't
6
go
is the
at night.
magic creative hours. And I'm fresh. My mind has been vibrating in a meditative state for that time. So that's where, that's what a circadian clock is. And even people who are doing diets and all of that type of stuff, if you stop eating when the sun goes down and then plan your eating schedule around that, you're going to reach all the goals that you
do the
want.
opposite right now.
Let's do
We're
Ramadan.
doing Ramadan right now.
It's Ramadan.
Yeah.
Ramadan right
And it's
now.
the same
thing.
concepts as fasting.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like to those things, because now that's the experience, because your body needs at some point some time to recharge. But normally, we wait. Fasting is a different principle because that's about discipline. So then you get to reward yourself.
Right.
But even in that same thing, like Malcolm X ate once a day.
Right.
Just that, like when you think about that discipline. You know what I mean? That it takes to still be healthy, knowing the nutrients and everything.
You can do that, though.
Yeah.
I used to do that when I was on the Breakfast Club. I only used to eat once a day.
But it's a
it wasn't on
discipline.
purpose.
Yeah, it's a discipline
Then I would
because it
only
has
be
to be the
hungry.
right things to eat to
I would only be
sustain you.
hungry once a day.
Yeah. And that because your body gets used to it in that sense of, like, if you ever had the opportunity to read the book Eat to Live by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, it breaks all of that down on how this is a machine, so we got to fuel it in order to have the long lasting life that we want. So in that same sense, whatever the diet is, you can structure it in, like I said, the circadian clock is the natural clock that we all have.
Now, do you, percentage wise, how much time do you think you sleep alone?
Oh, wow. Didn't see that coming.
Yeah, that's a great question, Angela.
like kids excluded because
like a woman.
Oh, I mean, I'm not out there like that.
I know, but you have
This is my guy. You're not out there like that.
I'm not saying with strangers, but I'm saying, like, how often are you
okay,
alone?
just so think about the clock that I just described to
Okay.
you, right? Everybody else ain't going to bed at 8. I'm in the bed by myself.
At 8?
Yeah.
What is all this happening?
Yeah. Somebody tapping you at midnight, like.
I'm up at 2.
Okay, that's what's happening. Got
Well,
it.
they laid out.
Got it.
The sneaky cannon is popping in where he got to pop in for those few hours.
Sneaky cannon.
Yeah.
I just had to ask. 'Cause I'm like, when is he doing all this?
But
When
it
is the
actually
action
works
start?
because I get more sleep this way.
Okay.
Because it's uninterrupted sleep from
By
8
yourself.
to 2.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to go through some things with you because obviously I used to love being on your show when you had your Nick Cannon show.
We was having fun.
Yeah, so I like to talk about different topics with you because I
Yes.
know
Yeah.
you keep up with everything and you
Absolutely.
have good
Takes.
insights.
Yes.
All right, so we were talking about Jennifer Lopez and people were upset at her doing this whole alcohol brand.
Yeah, which is
Right, because they said because she doesn't drink.
I don't drink
Now, you-
either, but I
that's
got
what was gonna
alcohol
ask you
brands.
that.
You do?
Yeah.
It's all about the experience. I was like, whatever got to get you on the high frequency and vibration that we got. So we definitely got the incredible tequila coming. You know but
Tequila's my drink of choice.
yeah,
Angela loves
Incredible.
tequila.
Yeah.
yeah. It's actually called it's incredible in Spanish. Increíble.
Increíble.
But that's
So
weird
that's
to
gonna
me
be the name
because
of
you
it.
don't drink.
Yeah, but I DJ. I'm in the club. I
Yeah.
buy bottles. I've been buying bottles for 20-something years.
Right.
Spending all
So
that money.
so I'm a part of
everyone
the
else.
culture.
Right.
I choose not to put the poison in me.
You can't call it that and then tell
I mean,
other people.
Buy my poison.
No, whatever.
Buy my poison.
And that's
Buy
the
my
pick
poison.
your poison.
What?
Pick your poison. At least I'm honest.
But you know, you know what it is.
Yeah, I'm
right?
honest.
Pick your poison. You know what it is.
Yeah, candy is poison, and I love it. You know what I mean? Like,
So
pick
do
your
you.
poison.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, so
When's the last time you had a drink?
Never.
I've never completed a drink.
Okay.
In your life, you never completed one drink.
A drink. I mean, even I'm in the club with the chick. I do the shot trick. Oh, so crazy! I spit it out. You know, like. But I've
holding
tasted
something.
alcohol.
Yeah.
I've toasted champagne, but I personally don't ingest it that way.
Okay.
But I have I'm just like J-Lo. Like, let's turn up. I got a bar in every house I own.
Yeah, for other people.
Yeah,
A
like,
lot
I
of
throw
what Nick does
parties.
is for other people.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Yeah,
That's what
that's what
alcohol
he
is
does.
for. To get the whole vibe right.
Get the room
Get
together.
the room together on the same frequency.
room
I'm
together.
already up here on the high
Clear-
frequency.
clearly.
And by the way,
Y'all
the reason
need
we're
some-
doing this
some
is
help.
to get him back into it because Nick has his own radio show coming.
Wow.
yeah.
All
Yeah,
right,
the
which just
morning
got
show,
announced
right.
today. So,
Yes.
we want to go through some of this and then we want to talk about that. All right, Little
Absolutely.
Dicky, his new season of Dave just premiered
Lit.
last week, right?
Lit.
And one thing that he wants to confront is his penis insecurities.
Yeah, that's well, his name is Lil Dicky.
That's what I said. That's just what I said. Didn't I say that?
But that
apparently-
he leans into it.
Yeah, he leans into it, but it's a long
I've had a
lean.
conversation with him, and I was one of the most uncomfortable conversations ever in life, where he was describing his genitalia.
Tell us
What?
tell us how he described it.
I don't know. Something happened when
He
he
had
was
surgery.
born
Yeah.
or something, and it's weird down there.
Okay.
Like, and instead of like being insecure about it, he actually embraced it and gave him
Little
the
Dicky.
rap name Little Dicky, and a
Yeah.
lot of his first viral songs were talking about,
His Little Dicky.
Wow.
Yeah, so I think that's kind of dope though, to where like, because you could go the other way and
Right.
be mad and angry.
Right.
He just embraced it.
flipped
So
it.
now, whatever it looks like down there,
I'm
he set
interested.
the bar, so it's gonna be
Okay,
a pleasant
Jasmine.
surprise.
Jasmine-
See,
yeah.
Jasmine's interested.
I'm interested in
See,
seeing his
Little
penis.
Dicky, it's working.
Jasmine want to see it.
I do. I want to see it.
Yeah.
And I remember
And
you-
you'll probably be pleasantly surprised, whatever it is. It'll give you an emotional reaction, whatever it is.
Some
All right.
things are so weird that they're cute.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. Next topic.
But do you think everybody has? Now I remember you talking about some insecurities you've had before too. Does that give you?
See, where are we going? Because last time we started, you got me in trouble with
Wait a minute,
all women, not just black women. I was walking in a grocery store. Why you in our business? Why
Oh,
you
I
in our
remember that.
pH balance?
I remember
I don't want no smoke.
Why you?
I don't want.
So does Nick Cannon have any insecurities?
Yes.
What?
Okay.
Yeah, like so many. I mean, man.
Give us 3.
Well, first of all, I was always growing up. I was a small, skinny kid, like
Okay.
80 pounds wet. Like, my mouth was the biggest thing on me. So like, that's what I use to kind of build up my self-esteem, because
Okay,
I was
ladies.
Yeah, I was so small. Like, I didn't grow to 6 feet till after I graduated high school. I was like 5'2"
Oh,
the
okay.
entire high school.
Oh,
so
wow.
that's always been. That's why I never could get the Mano
Right.
look in the gym, the natural,
Mano.
just
New
brolic.
Mano.
New Mano.
Yeah, I wasn't a brolic dude, so I got overly obsessed with the gym.
Mm-hmm.
Probably even not understanding my health, probably taking substances I knew nothing about
Right.
to bulk up and doing all of that stuff. I mean, now I got my health together a little bit more, so I still, I'm in the gym, 5-6 times a week,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just based off of health. I'm not trying to look fly for nobody. I'm trying to stay alive.
Okay.
So, but that's always been an insecurity of mine, just being skinny, not being tall enough, not not even my youthful look was always a thing for me because I wanted to be a man.
Okay.
And I constantly kept trying to convince people that I'm a man. Even I'm a grown ass man looking like I'm 19 years old.
And then people always tell you, you're going to be thankful for that later. You'll be grateful for that.
Yeah, and I mean, it's working, but I mean, like, it's still even to that point. As a kid, you got to think, I probably looked like a teenager for 20 plus years.
Yeah.
And it's like, that was an insecurity of mine. Even in the space of like acting and stuff, that actually discouraged me from even taking acting, as my main focus because that would always be the feedback. It's like, oh, he still looks too young to play this role. And I'm like, I'm older than the person that but it's like, so that was a big insecurity even in my acting space. So that made me take like, all right, I'll come, and I still feel this way. I'll come back to this when I have matured, so I can do those Oscar award winning type of roles and things, because everything else is romantic comedies, little kiddie, silly stuff. And I was like, all right, I gotta mature.
Oh, that's interesting.
Physically as a man.
So that's still a goal for you to get.
But again, if I'm putting a trajectory in my plan, probably the next 5 to 10 years is when I'll probably dive back into acting, fully, because I built the empire of it, and now I can do what I want to do.
Right.
But I want to be a leading man, has a certain look and appeal.
That's interesting, man.
So and I'm getting there now, being in my 40s, but like all through my 30s, I look like a kid.
Right.
Yeah.
So I couldn't.
That's a good problem to have, though. I feel like.
But for the roles that he wanted, it was a hurdle.
Yeah, we was talking like everything from the Arthur Ashes to the Marvin Gayes to the Richard Pryors. These are all things, and all the feedback. Amazing actor, great. He's a superstar. He just looks a little too young.
And I don't even think of Nick Cannon having
like,
to audition. I don't even think of you having to like audition like
well,
that.
It's not really auditioning. I'll give you a perfect story and example. For Lee Daniels at the time, it was a different time, but he was directing with Harvey Weinstein when he was that dude. We were all, excited about the Richard Pryor story, and I had met with the family, and if you guys remember, because y'all was talking about it, it was me, Marlon, and Mike Epps.
Yep.
And this is the process they go when they making them big budget movies. We were all up in I don't know if it was Miramax Weinstein at the time, their company, and it was beautiful because it was Kate Hudson. Man, I'm blanking on her name now. The Devil Wears Prada.
I'm
Anne
picturing
Hathaway.
Her. Yeah, I was
it was
picturing her in my
Kate
head.
Hudson, Anne Hathaway, and I believe it's another actress. I can't. So, and they do screen tests.
Yeah.
And all of us had to do it was the wife of Richard Pryor, and then it was Richard Pryor, and we all had to do scene work with each other, and. We was like Marlon was standing over there, Mike was over there, Kate was, and we would go in and work with Lee and figure it out. And obviously everybody was great. I was rooting for Mike Epps, even though I was up for it, because I was like, he lived the life. Like he really to me, he embodies Richard Pryor. Like, Marlon could do a great Richard Pryor. I could do an impression, all of that stuff. But Mike moved like how Rich moved back in the day. So I was always rooting for Mike, but the feedback that Lee gave me, and Lee is one of the closest people I have in the industry. We've been through a lot together and talked. But he's like, I gotta be honest with you. He's like, you're a phenomenal actor. You're just too young. You haven't had the way Lee directs. He wants to experience. He wants you to have tried crack before. He wants you to have. I'm sorry. I'll smoke the cigarettes, but we ain't about to do crack. I ain't about to freebase to get this. But
he wants it to come from a real
and
place.
that's why he brings out Oscar award winning performances in everybody. Yeah. But so that's a perfect example. There's like you just funny. Too young. You can't show me Richard in his 40s when you look 19.
Too youthful.
Yeah. So.
And you see everybody trying to talking about buying BT. Is that something you considered at all?
No.
Just wondering.
This is again, and shouts out to everybody as we know, you gotta know how to manipulate the media and not let the media.
And you know how to do that. Nick.
Yeah, so that sounds good. You know what I mean?
That sounds like a lot of work.
That sounds like when Bill Cosby said he was gonna buy NBC.
Right.
You can't buy a publicly traded company. You know what I mean? But it makes good news for the headlines and what the energy of we should own our own. Mm-hmm. I'm all for it. Tell me when we building something brand new.
Right.
Because even as someone who's been in the Viacom system since I was a teenager, I know how those intellectual properties move around. So even if you buy a brand new, you get everything that comes with that brand.
Okay.
So I'm not speaking too much on it and not getting too deep. But I much rather buy and create something that I own wholeheartedly.
From the ground.
Yeah,
Okay.
I understand they may be value in those intellectual properties, but that value gets tied up in a lot of legalities and people who believe that they say. So, we still hearing JD and Stephen Hill and everybody's talking about who created 106 and Park.
Right.
I don't want them problems.
Right.
I'd rather create the new version.
Well, let's talk about what you're creating now.
Yes. So
Okay.
in that same vein, like we just talked about the Future Superstar brand that I just built. That's going up, and which will be on BET and VH1 now. So I'm definitely going to forever be in business. Whoever buys it,
Right.
I'm still be collecting them checks. But the thing that I'm super excited about, I'm always looking for the next wave, is the Daily Canon, and it truly is what they built over there at AMP is next level. Like I try to pay attention to what's popping. I remember when Twitter first popped off, I was one of the first people on that. I mean, Vine, Instagram, Clubhouse, obviously TikTok. I remember when TikTok was Musical.ly. I was in there trying to invest. You know what I mean? I got a lot of talent early on. From TikTok, where it was Musical.ly then, and I put them on Wild 'N Out. So I'm always keeping my ear to the street, and what they doing with this AMP thing is real. Like, we've been doing radio for years, but they figured it out to democratize it in a way to where everybody can be a part of the experience. Because normally radio is when you talk at someone. With AMP, you could talk to someone.
Right.
You don't have to call in. It's on your phone. Where you listening, you push a button, you could be a part of the conversation. You could create your own. Everybody got a show. It's a community. It's like Clubhouse, to where where y'all be going up on you can now.
Don't encourage that. Don't encourage that.
I don't play with Clubhouse.
Yeah. A lot of your fans talk. They all in your business on it.
Yeah.
But now it's a conversation where we can monetize this.
Right.
Because that's what always throws me about Clubhouse. Y'all giving up all the game and ain't making no money. Y'all spending all these hours on an app. And you ain't build a brand off of that conversation.
Right.
So that's what AMP is all about. And then for me, I had a daily talk show on television.
Yep.
It took 16 hours to make 1 hour of content.
Yeah,
I don't have 16 hours for 1 hour. And the Oprah money, the Ellen money, they got all that. Ain't none of that them hundreds of millions ain't in that space no more.
Right.
So I was like, I'd rather create something that it doesn't take me 16 hours to make 1 hour. I can give y'all my morning content and chop that up. The world could see it, and then I'm off going to my other jobs.
Okay.
So I was so frustrated in the daily television talk show world because I was stuck over there in Harlem for 16 hours a day, exhausted by the time I went home.
Yeah.
All of my other businesses are suffering because I'm trying to build this that I'm making a couple $1 million a year.
How does Nick do this?
Right. Yeah.
Because
a month in, I realized this ain't the play. I got to figure out the next play. This is the next play. And the Daily Can. So on all platforms, all entities, I'll be able to do that same thing I was doing on a talk show. Got the bag up front.
Okay.
Bag up front.
Bag up front.
Up front.
And now you can engage with me in a way that you could never. You're not just my studio audience. You're part of the show.
All right, so this is interesting because this just got announced this morning. So do we have a start date and everything?
Yeah, I think we rocking. I think because again, this week I'm actually filming another show that
Of course
I created.
you
I don't even know if I can announce that one, but it's a vibe that it's. I have to finish this show first, and it's more of a therapy show.
Okay.
For men. So we're
Mano, please.
Yeah, no, we
Bring
matter of fact,
Mano on there, please.
Real talk.
Please.
I need
y'all
you.
talk like I'm just the guy that just needs
I'm
all
a
this.
like,
No, but I
Just
need you on this show show. We need your
I'm gonna
voice.
drop you off.
Yeah,
It's pretty much
and then come back and pick me up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's the
I'll
male.
wait in the car.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna leave.
It's the male version of like The View and The Talk and all of
nice.
that type of stuff.
Right.
But 'cause it's a table of men, half entertainers, half professionals, therapists, doctors.
Right.
And we talk. It's a safe space for men to talk about everything that we may be scared of or
Right.
that we're dealing with,
Love
where
it.
we need healing. So I'm doing that this week,
Okay.
and then after that, that's when we start the daily.
that's
You know
it.
what
That's
we
a
were
dope
talking
show,
about?
'cause
I'm
we
glad
was
you
talking
said
about
that
that
about men.
earlier.
Yes, because
Yeah.
I was saying
Right.
it feels like so many people are coming, being more open about having struggled with depression.
Yes.
Is that something that you?
We have several episodes about that because men are we taught to be tough from our origin.
That's right.
Stop crying.
Stop
Don't
crying.
nobody-
Get up.
Yeah, keep it to
Yeah,
yourself.
man don't cry.
Yeah, and then we don't understand. Like it ain't even just depression. It's the post-traumatic stress syndrome of being a
Unchecked
black
trauma.
man.
That's right. Unchecked
Of
trauma.
knowing, like when we walk out, like we all know people that have lost their lives to senseless violence. We all to everything, all the systemic issues that constantly haunt us. We've never dealt with it.
Right.
When have we sat down and said, even just the concepts of we come from a lineage of enslaved
That's right.
people.
That's right.
Yeah.
We haven't never
right.
dealt with that.
Yeah.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So to be able to have a safe space to be like, man, I'm messed up about I have this inflated ego because I've been trying to get mine all year. Nobody's been wanting to give me my proper due. As a black man, how we treat our families and our women because we've been treated like property for so long.
Right.
So we want some level of ownership and security of our own. So therefore, we deal with our children differently from people who don't have those issues. So we talking about that type of stuff.
And even Mena, for you haven't been like formally incarcerated, and you were in jail for how long?
10.
10 years. That's
That's a long
It's a very long
time.
And at
yeah.
a very significant time in your life when you were just still
Right.
a kid,
A
really.
When-
Yeah.
When you go to prison 16, 17 years old, and then you already come from a violent environment, but now you thrust into an environment that is now more closed in.
Yeah.
which is probably even just as much violent. But all of those things, go into this trauma that when you get out, it goes unchecked.
Facts.
And then the thing about having unchecked trauma, a lot of us don't even know we need help. A lot of us don't even know that there's something wrong.
Real talk. Man, and I like that. That's why I said his voice is so valuable because I can only speak from a certain perspective. But
That's
for
a
brothers who
different, yeah.
Imagine being in a cage for 10 years
Imagine that.
And
then
people screaming
thrown
about
back into
prison
society
reform
like,
now, but
go be
like-
successful.
Yeah.
Right. But here's $40. Here's a bus ticket. Now go ahead and go out in the world. Right. And my story is smaller compared to guys that's doing 20 years or more. Right.
But
Coming
even
home.
as the idea of
Right.
recidivism, I mean,
Right.
we gotta honor and salute and protect this king because
Right.
he ain't go back.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? Like it's a cycle.
I'm
They
Yeah.
don't-
trying.
Right.
I'm trying.
No, it is like so. I wrote a book. The book is coming. It's called the Art of Freedom,
Mm.
and it's coming soon. And this is what I'm talking about. I'm giving them the game on in my perspective, sort of like a 48 laws of power way of what it takes to maintain your freedom.
Man, we
right?
need that.
So yeah.
Nah,
And then
that's
even
real.
your brother just came home
Yeah,
too.
man, shout
you
Mouse
know,
home.
Mouse.
Yeah, definitely. So all of those things go into the play of and go into that pot of therapy.
Yeah.
And it was interesting. Me and Fab was talking about doing something. He wanted to do something for his album where he wants to shoot content around actually, getting therapy.
Yeah.
Because it's something that in our community we don't even talk about.
We
It's
scared
not cool.
of. We feel like we don't need no help. We
Right.
got this. But like,
When
first
was
of all,
the first time you went to therapy, Nick?
see, I come from like a church background as a kid, so it was never like you always had the therapy
Go
ministry.
talk to yeah.
So,
Okay.
but it was sometimes it was people who weren't qualified
Equipped to help.
to be
yeah.
to. So
Or
the,
they tell you pray it
the-
away.
Yeah,
pray.
the first person, the first professional, like first psychologist I probably had was probably relationship therapy. And trying to mend relationships, and then same thing. I started going and being a part of therapy processes with different psychologists who were going into, facilities of incarceration and having groups of, incarcerated individuals having those discussions, and that changed my life.
Yeah.
Because I was like, first of all, these brothers and sisters in there are brilliant.
Right.
They never unpacked what's going on. Usually a person that's incarcerated was trying to figure out an alternative way to be successful. Usually, or there's some mental health issues. Like, but if you've committed a crime, you're like, I don't want to go to what society says. I want to get my money like this.
Yeah, hustlers.
So
really hustle.
their minds are next level.
Right.
And usually even when it comes to mental health, is the balance and the way your neurons, trigger off. It's something there's brilliance in there, and a psychologist studies that and can help figure out how to get you on track for what society needs from you. So through that process, I was like, I need just as much help as everybody in here.
Right. Yeah.
So then once I started doing the work and unpacking and figuring out, one, getting to this place, and none of us are ever gonna be perfect. We all gonna go through trials and tribulations. Is how you deal with it. And then the best way to deal with it is to talk about it.
Because you got to be there for your kids. And if you're not good, then you're not good for them.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Well, Nick, I do want to thank you so much. I know how busy you are. And so
Come on,
thank you,
y'all get my
Kashawn.
time.
Kashawn was like, Nick said he's going to come. And
Come on,
anytime I've
anything
needed
for
you for anything,
always showed up for me.
I was just going to say the same thing.
Yeah.
Anything that I've ever needed, you've never told me I can't make it. Even though I know your schedule is jam-packed. It's let me figure out how, when.
I'm there for you. You family. You sister. And again, you don't get a lot of that in this game.
Nick's solid. What happened to the movie where you beat me up in the movie?
You know what? That movie came out, and I still have. I want. It's a scene with me, him, and Amber Rose.
Yeah.
And because it was a little graphic, and it was the King of the Dancehall movie. Woopi Goldberg and
Remember that
Rhymes.
King of the Dancehall.
And the thing, my character was from Brooklyn, and he was the goon I stole. So he was knocking my chick off. His name was Charles.
Caught me in the bed.
Yeah, he was in the bed sleep.
That tracks.
I bust my way past Amber Rose. I want to put that scene out
You got to get that scene because we went and did it at Aces.
Yeah, he came and killed me at Aces. After I beat him up, he got revenge. It's a whole movie that me and Mano got. And I just wanted to figure out the right time, because that was the thing too. When you have so much content, I didn't want to just throw it out there and catch a flub. Yeah. So I got it, and
we need to see that. We need to
dope.
see that.
Mano was getting off, like it's me and him fighting in the room. I grabbed the gun. He tried to shoot me. Like,
oh my God.
I lost.
Yeah.
We need this.
But he came back to Aces and shot me up.
That tracks as well.
So who really lost?
But
it's a movie.
It's a movie. But like I got to put that out. I just wanted the timing to be right. Because it's so dope. I would be mad if I put it out and only get 1,000 views.
I can't see that happening.
Yeah.
Right.
So we gonna put it out there. But we did that a while ago.
All right. Well, Daily Cannon.
Yeah.
It's starting soon. You got everything going on right now. You got the Celebrity Prank Wars.
Yeah.
You got Wildin' Out is back.
Yeah, we about to be 20 seasons. First of all y'all got to come. We shooting in May. I need all y'all on Wild Out. Like you've done it several times before. You've been there before. Jasmine, you got to pull up.
Okay.
Jasmine could rap too.
Yeah.
Don't play around.
Come rock with
I'm not
it.
just a brand. I'm my own brand.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, guys.
Nah. But I need y'all all my shows. Real talk.
Yeah, I did one of them.
You did a few of them. You did.
All right.
Yeah,
well, Nick, it's always a pleasure to have you on here. And like I said, I always want people to give it up for your business savvy as well as everything else that you have going on.
Appreciate you.
This man literally almost lost his life. So you are a treasure for us to have you here with us.
Definitely.
And we appreciate
Yes.
you.
Appreciate y'all.
All right, Nick Cannon.
Way up.